Welcome to The Village, a podcast focusing on the students, staff, and community members that make Village Elementary unique. We are your hosts today. I'm Lucas.
And I'm Gianna.
And I'm Mrs. Evans.
As they discussed in the first episode about empathy, each month, our school is learning and practicing a specific character trait. If you haven't had a chance to listen, make sure to visit our website, thevillage.usd253.net, to listen to that episode and many more. There's also more information on the extra content page for this episode.
We will record 9 episodes this year, one about each month's focus word. We will also invite a guest on the podcast who we believe is a good example of that trait. We will learn more about them as a person, and they will give us some tips on how to live a character-worthy life.
This episode will focus on the character trait of self-direction.
Self-direction is the ability and learned skill to think about your future goals and then take intentional steps toward who, where, and what you want to be. Instead of focusing on things to control or avoid, you should think about your responsibility to make good choices related to your emotions, attitudes, and actions.
Students who practice self-direction do the following things. They control their impulses and emotions. They choose how to respond when good or bad things happen to them. They regularly follow the rules and the class social contract. They take responsibility for their actions, and they make meaningful and positive relationships with others.
It is now time for us to share one of Aesop's fables to help us learn more about self-direction. This is a story that I am sure many of you have heard of before, The Tortoise and the Hare.
One day, a very conceited hare was bragging about how fast he could run. He bragged and even laughed at the tortoise, who was a little on the slower side. The tortoise, knowing what he was capable of, challenged the hare to a race, which made the hare laugh once again. "Ha ha, what a joke," thought the hare to himself. "A race? Of course, my dear friend, we shall race tomorrow."
The other forest animals met and mapped out the course. The race began, and the hare, being such a magnificent runner, left the tortoise far behind in no time at all. About halfway through the race, the hare said, "You know what? I have plenty of time to beat that silly, slow-walking tortoise. I think I will hop around in this field for a while. Besides, these wildflowers are too delicious to pass up."
After the hare finished playing and having his wildflower snack, he decided that he would take a quick snooze. He wanted to look well rested and refreshed for when he was announced the winner of the race against him and Mr. Slowshell. He cuddled up beside a great big oak tree and dozed off fast asleep.
The tortoise continued to walk the course of the race, slow and steady. He never stopped, but continued to put one foot in front of the other, one step at a time.
The hare finally woke up from his nap. "Time to go get my medal." Off he ran faster than his little legs could carry him. He ran toward the finish line, where he saw the tortoise, who was waiting with the rest of the forest animals at the finish line, wearing the first place medal and a smile.
And that is how the slow old tortoise beat the fast hare in a race. The moral of the story is usually said to be slow and steady wins the race, which means that success is achieved by making consistent progress over time, than trying to do things quickly.
This is actually a lesson in self-direction. We have invited a special guest on to discuss more about how this story relates to being self-directed.
Hello, Mrs. Bonitadibus. Welcome to the podcast. Would you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
I'm Mary Beth Bonitadibus. I am a 3rd through 5th grade strategist.
Thank you for joining us. How do you think that the story of the tortoise and the hare teaches us about self-direction?
Well, nobody gave the turtle a chance. They thought he was slow. They thought that the rabbit had everything they needed to win, and the turtle believed in himself, and he went slow, but he was steady. He kept after it, and in the end, he got to the goal that he wanted, while the rabbit was kind of a bragger and thought that he was all that in a bag of chips and stopped and took a nap, and he ended up losing. And I think that's the way it is a lot of times when you set goals.
Why do you think being self-directed is important?
I think it's important because nobody's going to do it for you. People can encourage you, and that's helpful, but in the end, it's you. It's all you. You have to figure out what you want, and you have to figure out what you have to do to get there, and nobody can do it for you.
How do you practice self-direction in your work and or home life?
At work, I can tell you that I have a goal. I set a goal that I want my students to be able to do, and I think of all the different ways that I can help them reach their goal, which is also my goal as a teacher. And if something doesn't work, we try something different until we get to what we want to do and reach what we want to do. At home, it's just getting things done that I need to get done. I'll see something, I'll think, okay, I need to get that done, and I set a timeline and do a little bit every night or a little bit every day until I get done what I want to get done.
Do you have any tips for us on how we can practice self-direction?
Believe in yourself. That's my biggest tip. Believe in yourself, and when you have an idea of what you want to do, you have to believe that you can do it. Then slow steps. It doesn't have to be fast. It can take a long time. I know when I decided I wanted to be a teacher, I decided that when I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade. And it was slow, but I did all that I could. In high school, I volunteered to be an aide at the elementary school. And in college, I took every education course that I could and helped with daycares and things like that. And although it took a long time, in the end, I reached what I wanted to do because I believed in myself.
So was somebody advising you on things that you should go and do and help with, or were those things that you're like, this is my goal, I'm going to choose to do these things? And like, did you have someone pushing you, or was it more self-incentive?
Both. I have 11 brothers and sisters, and 9 of us are educators. So, and I was the baby of the family, so I got to watch what they did as teachers, but also I just knew that working with kids is what I wanted to do. So anytime I had that opportunity, I took it so that in the end, I could reach the goal of being a teacher.
Where are you from?
I'm from Opie, but when I graduated, I lived in Florida for 4 or 5 years, and that's where I met my husband. And then we moved to Benton, Kansas, or El Dorado, Kansas, right outside of Wichita. And then we moved here, and I started working at Village.
What do you like to do in your free time?
Watch the Chiefs, right, Lucas?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Lucas and I discuss the Chiefs quite often. I love the Chiefs, do that a lot in the winter. I like to cook, so I give away lots of my goods that I make. In the summer, I love to grow flowers and to garden, and I love to play Candy Crush. I play that a lot, and just talk to my family and be with friends and hang out.
What big goals have you accomplished?
Well, the biggest goal was to be a teacher, and I achieved that. But when I was going to have my children, Rusty and I, my husband, both decided what kind of home we wanted to make for them, how we wanted their life to be, we wanted it to be the same as ours or maybe different than ours. And so every day we would work towards making their life the life that we wanted for them so that they grew up to be good human beings, and they both are very good human beings.
What is your biggest goal?
Now it's retirement. because I'm getting to the point now where I've been teaching for like 23 years or 24 years. So I'm thinking about the next phase of my life and retirement and what I want to do and how I want my life to be during that time. What are your guys' goals and something you want to accomplish?
Getting more sleep.
Getting more sleep? That's a good one.
That's a serious one.
Yeah.
Sleep is, the more I learn about it, sleep is crucial to your health. So
It is.
that is legitimately one of my goals, is to try to get more sleep.
So mapping it out how you can get more sleep, maybe taking little naps, things like that. How about you, Lucas?
I want to play for the Mighty Spartans.
What are you doing to reach that goal?
Just practice football a lot, and
I know Lucas was in my class last year, and we all set a goal to be able to do our multiplication facts in 3 minutes. And at the beginning, it was a little iffy, but he reached his goal, and I know it took practice, correct? Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, and like your goal of playing football, I think that's an easy go-to example about how to be self-directed and how to work, because you have to have the self-discipline. Like, in addition to your regular practices and things, you probably need to like take care of your body and exercise and eat healthy and, go to trainings with, like maybe you go to like a speed and agility coach, all of those things. And nobody is going to, your parents might make you in a way go, but you're the one that has to have the drive and ambition to do that yourself, because, people can only take you so far. Have you ever heard you can lead a horse to water?
But you can't make them drink.
They can give you all the tools, but if you're not self-directed and make yourself do it, then it's not going to happen.
I agree. Dr. Seuss had a quote that you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. And that's exactly right. If you dream it and you're willing to put the work into it, you can do just about anything. I love the feeling when you work really hard towards something. The harder it is, when you finally reach that goal, it's such a celebration. It's so self-rewarding to finally reach the goal that you set for yourself.
I don't know about you guys, but sometimes in the middle of when I'm planning for something or working towards something that I really want to happen, in the middle of it, I'm like, why in the world did I think I wanted to do this? Or why this is so, I shouldn't have even like messed with this. It's too much work. It's too much of this, or I'm tired. I can't do it. And then once you, like you said, it's so fulfilling once it's done, or maybe it's whatever you accomplish, if it's a project you're working on and it's completed, or if it's a degree that you're getting and you have that certificate, you look back and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah. My daughter Allie wanted to be a nurse, and I don't know if you know anything about nursing school, but it's very difficult. It's grueling is what it is. And every day she would call, Mom, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do this. I'm tired. I have 3 tests tomorrow. I have to do clinicals. And my advice to her every time was, look at the end, look where you're going, and take it slow. Give yourself grace. And then, like you said, when it was all over with, she was so glad she did it. And now she's an ICU nurse at KU Med, and she's so glad she did it. But while it was happening, it was very difficult.
Just like, are you a Royals fan too?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought. So I feel like maybe being a Royals fan could have been a challenge for a few years.
A lot of years. Being a Chiefs fan was a challenge for a lot of years, too. They weren't very good for a while until they got my boy Patrick. But you got to stick with them. You got to, through good and bad, you got to stick with it.
Lucas, how long have you been a Chiefs fan?
5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the good years.
Mm-hmm. You weren't with us when we didn't win very many games. Woo, that's kind of hard to do, but.
Do you know a lot about the players and things? So how do you think they're self-directed?
They train a lot, and like during games, they're very focused.
Mm-hmm. I think Patrick has a little bit to do that with them too, because he's such a good leader, and he inspires them to do their very best. And most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time, those guys, keep their mouths shut and do what they're supposed to do and not give bad examples, where on other teams, I think maybe that's not quite so true. So it's nice to have a leader like Patrick that kind of steers them in the right direction.
Well, and that's interesting. It's something I hadn't really thought about is you being a self-directed leader can help other people go in the right direction. So if you lead yourself in the right way, then you're going to bring people with you.
Correct. And I would always tell my kids that you need to choose carefully who you hang around, choose carefully who you surround yourself with, because when people choose to not do what they're supposed to do and to maybe not be good examples, and you're right there with them, I don't think that you're any better than they are then. So really choose wisely who you surround yourself with. Positive people, people that have goals, things like that.
Now you guys are you're fifth grader, you're fourth grader, you're getting near towards your end of Village. Do you have any goals that you want to accomplish before you leave Village?
Get faster at multiplication.
That's a good one. Or maybe participate in the talent show. Do either of you have any desire to do that?
I did last year.
Gianna, do you compete in dance competitions?
No. I just do it for fun. I've been doing it for 2 years, and like my dance director, she's like old. So she yells a lot though.
Does she?
I mean, like, she calls it constructive criticism. I don't know what that means. I don't want to know what that means. But we perform at, like, Cinco de Mayo, Dia de los Muertos. We danced at the opening of Rio Bravo. People have asked us to dance a bunch. Like, we just dance at festivals and other stuff like that. What's your favorite thing to do with family?
We are gamers. We play games and cards and all that. We've done that our whole lives, and I still love to play games with them.
Me too.
What are your favorite games?
We like to play cards, pitch, and things like that. We like to play Sorry a lot and Sequence and just all kinds of games.
What are your favorite games?
Probably video games.
Video games.
What's your favorite video game?
Madden.
Do you play Candy Crush?
Oh, well, no, but my mom used to.
Oh, I love that game.
I feel like we have a generation of children that love to play video games.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there is a limit of screen time that should be available, but there's never a more self-directed child than when they're playing a video game. So if we could somehow channel that intensity and focus that they have for like beating these levels or, getting all these things that are way over my head into other things, then they would be like literally running the world.
Mm-hmm. I agree. They're very focused and very self-directed.
You can't direct yourself to pick up those dirty clothes off the floor, but you can somehow direct yourself to like get your little man through,
Pac-Man. I was in the Pac-Man era. Miss
Yeah.
Pac-Man.
Have you guys ever played those?
No.
They don't
Never.
even know what they are. I'm that old. What was your favorite thing about being in my class last year? I want to know that.
You're very nice and you let us play a lot, just have free time.
Aw. See, make sure you keep that in there that I'm very nice.
I'll keep that part.
Okay.
I always like to ask our guests if you could give them one piece of advice, what would that be?
I just know that I am not a real serious kind of person. So my motto for life is do your best, but don't take life too serious. Try and do what's right by people and yourself, but have fun. You're not going to be here forever, so enjoy your life and not take it too seriously. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and I think self-direction is very, very important. Believe in yourself, because you are your most important asset. You are the one that can get things done for yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.